driver of the Mission 22 BMW, and you're listening to the Midwest Motorsports Cool Down Lap.
Oh, thanks, Ian, for the awesome introduction there. Welcome to the Cool Down Lap, guys. It is Monday, 12/23, a couple days here before Christmas, so we are getting to it. Did you guys get all your Christmas shopping done, James? You all caught up on your gifts?
Man, I've been caught up for a week. I went out today to try to get Chick-fil-A lunch, and it was absolute madness. I got it, and I came back home, and I was glad to not be out in the traffic in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah. No, I hate Atlanta traffic, especially, I mean, just in general, but I would definitely hate it for Christmas. Justin, how about you, man? How'd you fare? Are you done shopping? Did you guys get anything, you and your wife?
Yeah, I'm all finished up, man.
Oh,
I
awesome.
was ahead of the curve. Yeah.
You were probably done in February.
No, not that early. I got done a couple days ago.
Nice. I got to go get a couple stocking stuffers, and then that'll be about it.
Had issues with FedEx, but not surprised. So
You always have issues with
Behavior.
FedEx.
Well, my wife had ordered a package that was since the 5th of this month on the truck out for delivery. Do you think we've seen that package?
Not at all. It's gone.
Yep, it's long gone. So no idea who has it, where it went, any of that. But luckily we got refunded from where she purchased everything from. So that worked out, you know. But just the pain, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. That it seems to never fail that FedEx. I mean, I rarely have issues with UPS, but it seems like FedEx will always let you down in some sort of way.
They're the
I mean-
American Airlines of the shipping business.
Yeah, they're dropping the ball on the packages, and they went ahead and dropped the Denny Hamlin. So letting people down left and right. So to start today off, we're going to go ahead with the This Week in Motorsports segment. We're not going to have a whole lot in this podcast since the Road Series wrapped up and we had our championship episode last week. Which, if you did not get a chance to listen to it, you guys can go into the YouTube Midwest Motorsport iRacing channel, and you can go in through the archives and listen to that stuff there. It's actually pretty well laid out in there. So any episodes you missed, just go in there, listen to it. Any of the streams you missed for the races, hop on in there and take a look at them in there. But for This Week in Motorsports, it's outside of racing just a little bit. So I was scrolling through these social media tabs and I came across a snippet from the Dale Jr. download where they were discussing Dale Jr.'s wife, Amy Earnhardt's deviled egg recipe. And I'm a guy who was brought up on deviled eggs made with Miracle Whip and a pinch of sugar just to give them just a little bit of sweetness. I don't know, James, do you like deviled eggs?
I don't mind them. I don't reach for them first if they're on a platter, but
He
mine,
doesn't take them out.
no, I don't take them out. If I do, see, they're ones I remember have like a yellow center from the yolk and stuff, and then little red something or other sprinkled on top. I don't know what that stuff is, but paprika. Yeah, it tastes pretty good.
Okay. Justin, how do you like yours, man?
I mean, I don't know if there's a wrong way to make deviled eggs, but I'm a traditional recipe. But I always thought it was mayonnaise and not Miracle Whip.
So,
I could be wrong.
So it all differs there. So the Miracle Whip will give it like a nice sweet tangy type taste, which Miracle Whip does a great job at. So Amy's recipe calls for avocado, wasabi paste, some soy sauce, ginger, and lemon juice, and there's a couple other things in there. And I looked at it and I was horrified initially. I was like, this is so out of the norm. It's so foreign to me that it can't be any good. But I talked to the wife about it, and she's like, you know what? Let's just try it. Let's see how it is, and if it's terrible, we'll never make it again. We'll know. But if it's good, we can probably take it to one of the family's houses and, not tell them what's in it and make them eat it and see how they react. So, tried it out last night, put everything together relatively quick, relatively easy, pain-free for never working with avocado. It was interesting, but I did not hate it. I actually told myself that in the kitchen. I verbally told myself, I do not hate this. It was surprisingly well done. The heat was just right. The heat kind of went away afterwards, and you just get like a little bit of a sensation, and then the soy sauce and egg kind of cool it down, and everything just flowed. So I definitely recommend, if anybody has seen that recipe floating around, give it a shot, especially if you're a deviled egg type person like me. Now, unlike James, at my family gatherings, those are usually the first things that are hit, and they're gone before you know it. So it's kind of like you got to get in there when the getting's good, or else you're out of luck.
Something that takes 5 hours to make and 30 seconds for them to be gone.
You see, when we make deviled eggs, it's a process, but it's something that we appreciate in our household. So I'm sure I'll follow up with you guys at least and let you know how the family get together goes, and see how many people give me the weird look whenever they bite into that and find there's wasabi in there. So, Justin, you got anything you'd like to go over this week, man?
Oh, I'm just bored. I don't know what to do on my Saturday and Sunday, especially in the mornings. Morning time was the F1 time slot, and then afternoons on Sundays was NASCAR. So I'm kind of just caught myself rewatching some races, some Cup races from earlier this year. I rewatched the final Daytona 500 from last year, where Woods brothers got their 100th victory, and then I started rewatching the Bristol night race. I really don't have much to add, to be honest. Some league stuff, but we can get into that later. We don't need to get into that right now. We can kind of go through whatever else we want to.
Okay, yeah, we'll save the league stuff for the end. But I do have a recommendation for your early morning Saturdays and afternoon Sundays. That you're feeling this emptiness, this void. Hop in the Daytona and get yourself some practice in for that 24-hour session. We got a month, so
True.
Yep, racing will be back here soon, guys. 24 hours is coming up within a month, so get some practice in. Anybody running that 24-hour endurance, it's going to be here before you know it. So have fun with it and get some practice in. James, how about you, man? What do you got?
Absolutely nothing, man. Pretty lazy. It's freezing even down here in Atlanta, so we're doing inside activities, cleaning up mostly. I've got a room in my condo. I call it the toy box, and so I've been trying to keep it clean and reorganize all my toy equipment, hobby stuff, and it's a lot more work than I thought. But I kind of get in there and get lost. Time kind of disappears. When you're doing something you enjoy, you lose aspect of time. And so I'm a lot more organized. I know where almost everything is now. So now it's just time to find the right time to go play.
For sure. I guess most of all, before we get this podcast started here, if we don't get a good moment to do it before the podcast ends, we hope everybody listening, whether you're a Midwest Motorsports member or just somebody that kind of stalks the page and watches the YouTube, We hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and everybody has some enjoyment over the next 2 weeks. So, without further ado, guys, we'll go ahead and hop into our league racing. So, James, we went truck racing and cup racing, correct? Over the weekend.
Yes, we did. The trucks were at the fun track of Kentucky for a great race, and I was happy to see the turnout. Over 20 trucks. I think it was 23 was the number. I'm looking for the sign-up sheet now. Sorry, I don't have it up already, but Robert Sanders was on the pole, I believe. 1 second, it's coming.
Oh, they
Question: what do you guys know about Kentucky?
Oh, well, I know that they don't race there anymore. The track's
Yeah.
actually being used as like an event center, and they'll rent it out for like corporate parties and such, which is a travesty because I feel like the next gen car would excel at that track. I don't know if it's something between Speedway Motorsports and NASCAR that they just can't go out there, or if it was maybe lack of attendance during the last couple years there. But if you've ever driven down that stretch, is at 71, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever driven down that stretch and you're heading towards Louisville and you look off to your right, you'll see Kentucky Speedway, and it's actually pretty neat. If you get off at the exit where I think it's Sparta, Kentucky, where the Loves is, if you get off that exit and you go up, you can actually drive down in around the track, and they have a I don't know if they still have it there, but they actually had a merchandise building down there where you can go down in there and buy like memorabilia and stuff. So anybody down in the area or passing through, don't be afraid to stop down there. It's actually open to where you can kind of drive down and look around the facility and stuff. It isn't like super locked down. That aside from that, that's about all I know about Kentucky.
From what I remember about Kentucky is that they had a heck of a time getting traffic in and out. Something about 3 hours to get in the place and over 6 hours before the line started moving. They had one exit from the parking lot, and they weren't, I guess, didn't know what to expect. One way to get onto the interstate, and with traffic lights and cops directing traffic, they couldn't get people in and out of there, and that caused a lot of people to not come back the following year, and just turned into a fiasco after that, from what I remember.
I find that hard to believe because,
Yeah.
I mean, it seems way more open than like as far as access wise to Bristol than me. I mean, maybe Bristol has more. And I mean, what do you think, Anthony? Like driving around like Bristol, like I mean, there's a lot of like, offshoots around the track to all the various campgrounds, but like Kentucky just seems so massive. Like the
Yeah.
whole area where the track is, I would have thought traffic wouldn't have been bad at all. But I mean, I've never attended a race there, obviously. So
Thinking about it, I think some of it might be the fact that they're releasing a couple thousand cars easily onto 71, and they're probably just binding up the highway, which they have two separate entrances and exits at the track that I know of. They have one on the north side and one on the south side that both release to 71. But I mean, if they want to complain about that, they need to go to a Pocono race, because there's only one way in and one way out of Pocono, and it's a 2-lane county road. So you ain't really moving. I think it took us easily about 3 hours just to get out of the parking lot at Pocono. So it's crazy.
The track opened in 2000 with an ultimate goal of securing a NASCAR Cup Series race weekend in the near future. However, under Carroll's tenure, a Cup Series date was not given. After changing ownership to Bruton Smith in 2008, the track gained a Cup Series date in 2011. However, after an inaugural Cup Series weekend plagued by traffic issues and lackluster revenue throughout the following decade, the facility was dropped from the NASCAR schedule in 2021 and has since been turned into a multi-use rental complex.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Damn.
remember it being a nightmare.
Dang, that's a shame.
It is too bad because it looked like it was a great track. And my apologies to Dustin Ryan Stuttle. I'm surprised he hasn't come on Discord or flagged me on the Cool Down Lap podcast chatter yet. Dustin Ryan Stuttle was on the pole for the truck race, his home race, Kentucky. Ian Silva outside, and then Michael Samia in a Spider-Man paint. He brought the Spider-Man paint back, qualified third. Yeah, it looked like we were due for a fun race. Nick Aslin was also on the second row. Competition caution came pretty quick. I think it was like 15, but I don't think we got there before a caution came out. So caution came out at 13, and they kept racing. Tire wear was the flavor of the day, pretty much in the truck series. Justin, you went out early in the truck series. Is that something you want to talk about, or you want to skip over that part?
No, I just had a weird iRacing issue. I don't know.
Like-
why?
Did you run out of fuel on pit road to where you were stuck in front of the box, or what happened there?
No. So I was meatballed, and I was coming into the pits, and my engine blew. So I had to pretty much, obviously coast it the rest of the way. And coming in to my pit box, I was basically just trying to make sure I would actually make it to my box, and when I got to my box, so I guess if your engine's blown, you have no power
True.
or anything. So you don't want to overshoot and you don't want to undershoot. So hit the brakes and must have gone barely past my mark where I was too far forward. So I was too far forward and I had no power whatsoever. So starter I couldn't engage the starter to turn anything. And jumped out hit to exit the vehicle, and at the top of the screen it usually says race, which would obviously put you back quote in the vehicle, or there's always a tow button that comes up that you can select. I didn't have the tow button, so got back in the car, left again, got back in, left again. Then I left the session, came back, still no tow. So there was literally nothing I could have done. So
Yeah, that'd be frustrating.
it was game over. I might as well just yanked my power cord out of the wall. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I hopped into the Discord just as that was happening, and I was confused. I was like, "They ran out of fuel? Did this, that, thing?" And then it just ended. So that's an unfortunate end to the start of the race. Essentially, that was pretty early. So
Hopefully that doesn't happen too often to you. One of those fluke things. I think we've all had that glitch every now and then, though.
Yeah, I don't know if it was because I was already in the pit box itself, but I swear I've had it where I've overshot my pit box before, and you can still at least tow. So I don't, no idea what the issue was, but that was it. It was a quick exit.
Yeah, unfortunate. Hate that for you. What happened was the 22 and the 7 were arguing over real estate, and that's just unfortunate, but it happens. But that did bring out the competition caution, and we restarted. Michael Samia stayed out So that was interesting. He went off strategy right off the bat, but he was the only one that went off strategy. Some trucks decided to take tires, some decided not to. And then about 20 laps later into the run, we had Travis Jones, Michael Harris, and Ian Silva got tangled up arguing over real estate once again. And actually, Michael Harris, I got to take it back, came up on the incident that was happening with Travis Jones, trying to force a 3-wide scenario at Kentucky early in the race, probably with so many different angles and arcs coming into turn 3, especially at Kentucky. It's difficult to know if somebody comes in high and they're going to come down, or if they're going to come in high and stay high and run the third groove. So I think to Travis Jones's defense, it looked like the car in front of him, I believe it was a 51 Silva, was up high and just came down a lot farther than Travis expected him. But that started the sequence where some guys came in to top off and take tires, and some guys decided to save tires. So now we got some comers and goers, and we had a long green flag run, green flag cycle, a couple of them, and that was fun for me and Walker to call. I was pretty tired, a 10 o'clock start on the East Coast, I guess, for me on a Friday after a long week. Let's just say I was thankful to have Walker in the pits because he was doing all the play-by-play stuff, and I was able to just keep the cameras focused on the action and go from there. So shout out to Walker for joining me in the booth, doing a cracking job as he always does. So yeah, comers and goers, and before you know it, Travis Jones is back up front, fighting with Dustin Reinstedt, who almost always seems to find himself in the front. It's pretty amazing how they can't always be luck. But I do want to give a shout out to Justin Glickner, who was leading for some of the race, not only through the green flag cycles, but he was up there on merit. But he was early in the pit cycle, so he did have to come in before everybody else did. So, but yeah, good to see the Miller Lite truck up front. But then it came down to Dustin Reinstedt and Ian Silva, again, the front row, showing why they qualified first. And I'm trying to remember exactly what happened at the end. It's like there was a restart.
Was there a caution that I guess threw a wrench in everybody's strategy?
Definitely in the Cup Series, but
I feel like in the trucks they were talking about a caution coming out towards the end.
Yeah, I think Robert Sanders, I know, got crossed up really sideways. And yeah, that put 4 cars on an opposite strategy where they could make it to the end, 4 trucks. So they were just short of being able to go all the way. And I think the ones that could go all the way, there were 4 trucks. Everybody else kept their track position, but that put them in the back until the cycles came through, and they were able to keep their position up front. And those 4 ended up finishing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Robert Sanders, Brandon Cotton, Trevor McLaughlin, and John Aslin. So shout out to John Aslin for getting a strong top 5 at P4. He's pretty happy about that, as he should be. But Robert Sanders, Brandon Cotton, Trevor McLaughlin were the top 3. So that's what happened to Dustin Reinstedt. He stayed out under that last caution. And what brought out the caution was a half spin by Robert Sanders, who got tagged and went sideways, caught it, but it did bring out the caution. So that may have been I don't want to call it a controversy. Some people might call it a lucky win. Again, we'll get into more of that on the Cup Series because something very similar happened out there. But it really is, with no stage races and the amount of fuel that we got in both series, the trucks and the Cup, it really all depends on when that last caution comes out. And that's something that you can't plan for. So you pretty much have to make your own luck. And I mean, you can call it luck that Robert Sanders happened to be the one that got sideways and brought out the caution and was able to make a pit stop out of sequence. But again, he had to be in that position to take that spot when it came to him. So I still think the race was good on merit. I mean, it's unfortunate for Dustin, who ended up coming home 8th. So if that's bad luck for Dustin, but I don't think it was a bad beat or anything that, could have been prevented. The caution comes out. It's out of everybody's control.
Nah, yeah, you'll have that. That's again, we talk about this anytime there's a caution that comes up in the last leg of the race that ultimately kind of messes with everybody that's like running a strategy, and then there's the wrench. I mean, it's happened a lot this season. I could probably count on a hand how many times we've had a late race caution kind of shake up the running order or shake up who's in contention to win. So it's racing. I mean, we see it in real life and we're seeing it in the sim. It's going to happen, and I guess people are going to have to start, weighing that on the back of their mind when they're running these strategies with that, well, what if? That way, at the end of the race, they kind of have that plan B or plan Z if you're a Ferrari driver.
Yeah, right. The unexpected, really.
But congrats to Robert Sanders there with the win. I mean, it's great to get a win in. I believe that was his. If I was looking at the chat correctly, that was his first league race, like full length league race with the VR headset on. So good, congrats to you. It gets easier riding with that thing strapped around your face. I ride with one, and in all honesty, there gets to be a point where you barely even know it's on there. So just give it some time, and you'll get used to it. But do we have it doesn't look like it really had that big of a shakeup with points coming out of Kentucky. It looks like Dustin's still leading the points there. Robert Sanders is able to close the gap a little bit there in second. It looks like he's about 50. It might be about 48 points behind. Trevor McLaughlin in third. Brandon Cotton in fourth, and Michael Harris in fifth. The third, fourth, fifth place drivers, even sixth, you can kind of, and seventh. Dang. Okay, I'm just going to retract that statement and just say third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. I can see them kind of swinging positions over the next couple races. It's actually pretty close there, but the top two up there are kind of making a case to kind of run this down to the end of the season if they keep at their current pace. See anything there kind of sticks out, James, or?
I see Robert Sanders, with 2 wins, holding strong in there, which based off last season, I wouldn't expect, but he's definitely put in the work. And I saw today that he got a graphics card update. So I think everybody's jealous of that upgrade that he got. So that should help his VR and maybe a shot across the bow to everybody else. 2 wins on the season. Dustin has 3. So Robert Sanders, a serious threat. Lacking on the bonus points a little bit, but
yeah, you can definitely tell the difference there with the bonus 33-point difference between Dustin Robert Sanders. But again, we're still kind of early here, and a lot of this stuff can shake up. I'm talking maybe from 3rd to 10th is going to be your biggest possibility of a shakeup. I kind of see the top 2 there kind of dancing off into the sunset to settle their battle towards the end of the season. Again, as long as everything is going at its current clip. I mean, it's a long season and things can change. And in all honesty, I don't think we have a very clear indication of how the drop races are going to play out in this series either. So that's 3 races that could shake up the standings quite a bit towards the end. So we'll keep an eye on it and see how all this plays out.
It's such a long season, 21 points scoring races. So, for this to be round 9, we're barely a third of the way in, and no drops are counted. So, I think everybody's got a chance.
Yeah. So truck series, you guys are off this week, and you guys are returning next Friday, I believe. Yep. I believe it is next Friday.
Homestead.
Oh yeah, Homestead weekend. Want to make a prediction on that one, James? You got anybody you're thinking going into that race that's going to have a good race?
Well, of course, it depends on who shows up. It's hard to count out Justin Reinstedel at any race, and Nicholas Aslan. Trevor McLaughlin, I'm glad to see Trevor Mack have a good run for a change. And I still think a dark horse is going to be Michael Samia. If he can play the pit strategy right and stop going off strategy and throwing everybody off, I'm a Michael Samia fan.
We got to have Mike on the podcast. I got to ask him if this is like a psyop where he just goes in and he like throws like the strategy like different than everybody else, just to see if he can get everybody kind of confused on what's going. Yeah, mass hysteria.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Justin, you're participating, so I ain't gonna ask you for a favorite.
Won't be me. That was easy.
Yeah. If we're going to Homestead, I gotta put that 15 truck kind of on. I'm just gonna put him up on the top there in my pedestal because that's kind of Eric Thaler's playground there. It's one of those races where you can run the top, and he somehow is very good at being able to do that as long as he can keep that right rear out of the wall. I know he gets to his moments where he'll run 15, 20 really good laps around the top, and then he'll wall it, and you'll hear him in the Discord, out of the wall. So I'm going to say
he's good
Eric.
at that too.
Yeah, I'm going to say Eric.
He's good at Homestead. He's good at putting it up in the wall from time to time.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And which one of us hasn't?
It's the wall and gains a 10th somehow. I don't know how he does it.
So I'm going to go with Eric for my favorite out at Homestead. If I had to pick a dark horse, somebody I was thinking was going to come out of it and kind of shock the crowd, I'm gonna go with Brandon Cotton. That guy's been showing some speed, and it seems like a good track to where you can change lines. And I'm going to say tires going to come into play in this one. People are going to be saving a little bit, and it's going to be long green flag runs. This is my predictions. So I'm gonna say Brandon Cotton's going to play some strategy here, and he's my dark horse for the race. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks before we get there. Justin, you can mark your calendar for January 31st. The next time we go to Watkins Glen.
Woo!
In the truck.
Thank God.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Hold on.
It's not the boot. It's the cup layout.
I don't know. For whatever reason, I lack there in the truck, and there's one other person who's pretty darn good at that in the trucks, and that would be my brother. So
yeah.
I might have to just give him some bad advice before the race starts or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Play those mind games.
I like it. So
Hold on, Nick Aslin too.
Yeah.
As much as he says he's not a road guy, he's fully you know what because he's there.
Yeah, I think we're past the 5 minute. No, yeah, no, I totally agree. I'm very eager to see the trucks go to Watkins Glen and see the running order there because Sonoma put on such a good show with the top three just constantly battling. And I mean, it wasn't just the top three. I mean, I know the camera focused on them more so than the rest in respect to it's the lead of the race, but Eric Thaler and was it Ian Silva going?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, I want to say back and forth, but a lot of it was Ian trying to get around Eric and getting that bumper full. He even posted in the Discord chat just a screenshot of the rear end of the 15. But there was some great racing at Sonoma, and I'm hoping that carries over to Watkins Glen to where we have a nice tight race for the lead, whether it's between positions 1 and 3, or if we can get maybe like the top 5 or even top 7 trucks all to run close to each other. That would be amazing. But Watkins Glen is going to be a great one.
We got a couple of big races before then, including Homestead, Miami, Pocono, and Indy NASCAR Oval at Indy. So those are 3 big, wide ovals. And then Dover after that before we get to Watkins Glen. So everybody else can start practicing now. Justin can wait a couple of weeks before he starts his road course practice.
And
to look forward to.
Yeah, any of our double duty drivers that drive in trucks and in Cup, be prepared. The weekend of the 17th, which is our Indianapolis weekend with the trucks, is our long race. So you guys are going to be running 100 laps at Indianapolis in the trucks, and if you also run Cup, you're going to be running, I think it's 250 or 275 laps at Darlington on Sunday. So make sure you guys take your pre-workout drinks, do some curls or something a couple weeks leading up to it, because it's going to be a long weekend. And to top that off, anybody that participates in the Daytona Endurance event, 24 hours of Daytona, it's also that weekend. So it's going to be a lot of wheels turning. Make sure you guys are lubing up all the moving parts on your steering wheels, checking your checking your pedals for any unnecessary wear, because if you're participating in those events, they are going to be getting used. So it's going to be a great weekend for racing, and that's where I'll leave that at that. So we'll go ahead and move over to the Cup Series out at Bristol. Justin and I participated in this race. I'm going to say I participated. Can't really say I competed because 6 laps down doesn't really put you in there. What was that, JT?
Same.
Yeah. But I can tell you the one guy who did get to see it, the eye in the sky, James, man, how'd Bristol turn out?
Man, I absolutely loved it. And my buddy Michael Harris joined me. So shout out to the professor for joining me on that fun race. The last great Coliseum, it's lived up to its name, Under the Lights. Walker McAnulty put it on the pole, and if I remember correctly, our buddy number 2 here started on the outside pole. Did you have a good lap there, or was it just a fluke, Justin?
What do you mean? I beat everybody but one in qualifying. How can you say that's a fluke?
I know, that's what I'm saying. Getting you to get up on the wheel and talk to us, man. I thought you were there. Of course, the leader always gets the jump, especially with the competition caution at 25. So when did the tire saving start? Because I know for a couple of guys, Ant, all credit to Ant Castor, started on the second row. So Ant, I guess I should ask you the same question. Was that a fluke, or do you have some practice or a good lap? It was good to see you have a good start at least.
You talk my qualifying position. It was It was the fact that iRacing wouldn't make me go to a backup car because I came across the line in qualifying sideways coming out turn 4, and I was not getting out of the gas. So, I mean, I put down a qualifying lap, man. I just put my foot on the floor and said, this thing, if it's spinning coming out of 4, it's spinning coming out of 4. As long as I come across the line, I'm going to cross it.
Well, hold on to that thought. We'll get into more spinning off of 4. First, though. But yeah, no, shout out to Walker McNulty, man. He had a great start and pulled off almost 5 seconds. But me and Michael both were really not surprised, but impressed with everybody doing a great job of running 2 wide, staying off of each other. I think everybody was going for that 0x bonus. Aaron Olroyd didn't hold back. Yeah, we're going there, but we'll save that for the end also. But Aaron Olroyd didn't look like he was waiting for anybody, especially after the competition caution came out. He was on a mission. Where did he start? Let me look at my stats here, but it was good to see Aaron. He took tires at the competition caution.
Yep.
Well, so that helped him out some, but yeah, he was going somewhere and he was making it look easy. He was smooth.
So the big thing at Bristol, man, and I just want to highlight the beginning of the race here was lap 1. You kind of had an idea of who your comers and goers were going to be, like you were saying with Walker jumping out to a 5-second lead. We had a pretty good idea that he was going to burn his tires up by the time either the competition caution came around or 5 to 10 laps afterwards, because a 5-second lead, he was running qualifying laps at the first 15-20 laps of the race, like low 14s, 14.3s, 14.4s. I believe it was 14.4s. And those tires, like you've seen in practice, they just can't hold up to that beating for that long. So, and it wasn't just him. You've seen people take off like a rocket off the start, but then after about 20 laps, you start to reel them back in. So, sorry to interrupt you there, James, but I just wanted to highlight the beginning of that race on how you could kind of see the strategies playing out at the beginning.
Yeah, totally. And it was really, it turned out to be more or less at the beginning of the runs as the race played out. The first caution came out a couple of laps before the competition caution as Sean Cunningham gets the bad luck award of the day as he and the 9 were arguing over real estate, let's say, and that set the tone for the rest of Sean Cunningham's race. But Michael Samia stayed out again through that. So he goes off strategy and gains the track position. He may have been running the inside saving tires because he was able to hang up in the front with the 11, the 2, and the 12 for a long while. So once again, keep an eye on Michael Samia as the race progresses. And then everybody pretty much had a chance to lead as again, we in the broadcast booth, Michael noticed at first that Justin Reinstetter was running 0.4, half a second slower than everybody else. And we went on board with him. He's staying in 5th gear the whole way. And his RPMs didn't drop all the way, so he wasn't clutching, but he was really doing a great job of saving tires. Michael Samia chimes in. Hey, Michael. He said pit lane was blocked is why he stayed out. So I thought he was pulling an intentional strategy going off book, off the script. But nope, he said the pit lane was blocked. So let's talk about pit entry, by the way. You come into the pits on the exit of turn 2. So really depending on when the yellow comes out and where Barney comes out as pit exit, I mean, you got to be shining on the spot when yellow comes out if you're coming in. said pit lane was blocked. I don't remember if the 71 and the 9 got tangled up in 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, but maybe it was the exit of 2. That's why to me it stayed out. But anyway, thanks for clearing that up, Michael. But it turned out to be okay for him. Again, I wouldn't call it luck. Sometimes you make your own luck, but good for Michael Samia not to get a black flag drive through for entering the pits on a closed pit. So heads up to not get a penalty. So yeah, we go back racing, and a couple of laps later is when the 8 is down low, and I'm looking at it now on the replay. The 2's got a lap car up high. Did you watch this replay a lot? Justin and Ant, you guys were in it, so I don't know why I'm describing it.
Yeah, I watched it. I watched it a lot.
Yeah.
I was nice.
I
I
watched
told
it.
Anthony. I told him no hard feelings.
I watched it. It's it's
Well,
one of those.
What'd you?
Huh?
Maybe,
Did you make a
okay.
did you make a smart comment?
No, I said I watched it.
Not you.
Oh,
Did I make a smart comment? I could make arguments for both cars. That maybe Ant did a good job of using that lap car as a pick, and you were supposed to back out there so that Ant could get the position. So, but it didn't turn out that way. Ant didn't give you room to turn down, and you didn't stay up behind the lap car. You would have had to slam on the brakes and come to about a 30-mile-an-hour stop. But he was trying to stay out of the way. To his credit, he was all the way up on the wall. That's how I would see it if I'm on the outside calling it.
yeah. I think I kind of underjudged the amount of exit speed coming out of that corner and just washed up. It's hard enough at Bristol to go too wide, but I think I should have just waited on that one, just let JT get around the 9, and then maybe live to fight another day with that one. It's just something about that 2 car, man. Whenever he's up high, he just likes to toy with you, because you're going to pass him on the bottom. You're like, oh, you can't get around. Oh, and it just sits you down there. So I seen an opportunity.
Bristol.
It's Bristol. I seen an opportunity there, and I'm like, man, if I don't get around JT, he's going to make me sit down here on the bottom. I'm going to burn my tires up. And I think I ended up forcing that one a bit too much and just couldn't get the car to turn coming out of 4. So
it was like behind the rear axle. So it was pretty
It was
deep.
all your fault.
It's all good.
wow, dude, wow. So that pretty much ended my day, because I had the meatball. I couldn't start my car, couldn't drive, couldn't do anything, so I had to tow. So it was 2 minutes on top of 2 minutes on top of my pit time, and 2 minutes at Bristol, even under caution, is a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Even just to drive through at Bristol, because you have to drive through the whole, both back stretches and the corner. So yeah. That's pretty. So, I mean, that just makes me wonder why on earth green flag stops aren't using the exit of pit 4 for pit entry. I mean, that's what Barney used to comment on.
Yeah, you'd have to set up the session with the dual pit setup instead of single pit setup. I think we did that accidentally last season. I can't remember how it turned out.
I don't know. I mean, that's how they do it. I guess IRL, but again, they also have 38 cars too. So
Yeah, I couldn't imagine having 10 or 15 people all pitting at the same time coming off of 2. You'd have to do dual pits with more people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was mine and JT's fiasco, which again, I'm gonna blame you at the beginning of the race saying that, the 8 car is the aggressor in all these incidents with you, and I told you we haven't had a run in yet. So you
Well,
kind of just
you
spoke it
just-
into existence.
I mean, you kind of there just screwed everything up by admitting you said that.
You can't
No,
say that
that's-
anymore.
Anyways, so you
can
speaking this into
Hold on.
existence caused
You
this.
knew what I was gonna do, and you did what you did anyways. How's that my fault?
You knew what you was going to do. I never know what you're going to do. You're a menace.
You can quote me on that.
Yeah, I will quote you on that. I'll make a shirt out of it, dang it. When's Phoenix? I gotta wreck this 2 car
I'll-
again.
I'll get you there too. Don't you worry about it.
All right. Sorry. Back to it, James.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so Dustin Reinstedel takes the lead back on the restart. Kevin Mayer and 22 get into it. I felt bad for Kevin Mayer. Welcome back, Kevin Mayer, by the way. He'd been in the hospital for a little while and missed some races, so it was really good to see the 77 back on track. I hope I'm saying his name right. I say Kevin Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
Michael says Kevin Meyer. So either way, whatever it is, we're glad you're back racing with us, Kevin, and hope to see more of you on the track. That brings out another caution. Kevin Mayer hits the wall. That puts Jason Huffman back on a strong starting spot on the restart. Dustin and Walker on the front row, Michael Samia and Jason Huffman, row 2, and Eric Thaler right in the battle. And this is where those green flag runs, I guess as many as they could, start happening. This is when Dustin Reinstedel dropped back. I think he was as far back as 7th at one point. And then in 10 laps, he just turns it on and starts going through the field like everybody else is going backwards. And he's got a perfectly matched set of tires and just totally goes through the entire field, makes his way back up, and just about catches up to Walker before the next caution comes out. When Eric got into it, I think. Wasn't this Eric's crash? Let's see, who was it? Maybe it wasn't Eric.
That's what I say. I think Eric had that collision with Norm under caution. That was about it.
That's it. Yeah, and that was under pacing?
Yeah, I believe that was it under pace? I thought it was under
No, it wasn't
pacing.
under it. No.
Oh, maybe that was the incident then.
Yeah, I think it was just hard racing. But yeah, all good. Norm's facing the wrong way. I hated that for him. I had to wait for everybody to go by. And then that's what it was. He tried to go straight. And so everybody's pacing, and Norm goes up in the wall and can't do a snap turn because of the banking. And while he's trying to get it righted, here comes Eric, who sends Norm back down to the inside wall. That was kind of like a clown car show, like you really thought you're at a circus show or something. But nope, it was Bristol. I don't know if you guys watched any of that in the admin replay after the fact or not, but yeah, it was almost comical. We hated it for him in the broadcast, of course, for everybody involved, but I think that was a pacing incident. All right, I can fast forward some if you want. Lots of green flag racing, and it comes down to pit cycles and who goes long. I think the pit was almost 70 laps. Is that right?
So
You guys remember?
if you were
65
running a regular race and you weren't trying any fuel saving or anything like that, it's about 60 to 65 laps on a tank.
Gotcha. So if you're trying to save tires, you might be able to stretch out to a 70. I do remember Trevor McLaughlin spinning out on his own, a little tank slapper coming off of turn 4, trying to get all he could get, and that kind of shuffled up the field, and it put Ty Williams in the front, and because he didn't stop, and you started up there with him, right? This is when Ty was on the lap of his own.
Oh yeah. I started up next to him. I was 6 laps down, and they put me up on the outside line. I'm like, this ain't right.
Yeah.
But that was a big break in strategy for basically everybody. It put everybody aside from Ty Williams 1 lap down with, I believe it was Mike Scamilla, putting him into the lucky dog position for the next time the caution came out.
Correct. So that's the biggest. Comes down to my hot take, because when Trevor spun out on his own, there were exactly 65 laps left in the race. 195, and we're going to 250, right? So it's 55 laps left in the race.
Yep.
And so it wasn't quite time for some to pit yet, but it came out right when Ty was on a 70 lap run compared to his last stop.
Yep.
So Ty Williams had been nowhere all night. We had not mentioned his name. He wasn't in the top 10 all night. There are only 17 or 18 cars, right? Again, this is my hot take, is that it was not a fluke that Ty Williams was able to go that deep in the run, because he had been saving not only on that most recent stint, but the 3 stops before, he was able to save 3 laps. And so 3 laps times 4 stops, all of a sudden he's 12 laps longer than everybody else before you even get to that final stop. So he was able to go so much longer than everybody else based on his entire 200 laps. Now, was it fortunate that it came out right when he needed to stop? Okay, but even if the caution didn't come out, he was going to be the first one to make his last stop, because everybody else still needed to stop. So as much as I saw in the Discord about a lucky win, or got the race ended to him, or somebody got robbed from a win, you make your own luck. And he was the first one to make his last stop. It just so happened to be that a caution came out, and that is what put him on his own lap. Because if he had to do the pit lane speed limit all the way around the track like everybody else did under green, then he would have lost that lap and a half. But because he was able to come down and run pit lane speed while everybody else was behind the pace car doing pit lane speed, he didn't lose that extra time. So I'm a firm believer in you make your own luck, and they don't award points for stages anymore. You don't get points for being the fastest car on the track. Oh, you do get a point for purple. Do you get a
not Noble?
Not Noble. Yeah. So you get points at the checkered flag. And so I think Ty Williams deserves this win, no matter what anybody says. And I want to just stick up for Ty Williams a little bit. My Georgia buddy, even though he doesn't live in Snellville, Georgia anymore, he still, I think, did a great job managing that race and the chaos that it was.
Well, if you look at Ty's strategy in a lot of these races, he runs that tank as far as he can go with it, and pits at the absolute latest that he can. Which, when you do that, you basically tie your own hands in that situation, where you're going to run until either A, caution comes out, or B, I need to go down and get fuel. Where if you're pitting in, you're pitting in and you still have laps left on it, you're kind of taking that variable out there, like, hey, I can keep running laps, and a caution's either going to come out or it isn't, because you have to pit because you're going out of fuel. Ty just runs until he absolutely has to pit, which worked out for him great. It's worked out for him good a couple times this season.
Right. Just as easy could have not worked out for him if he, was stuck back in that 10th and 12th place spot and had to do his final stop under green flag conditions, and he'd have been stuck back there in 10th or 12th, 3/4 of a lap, half a lap down.
Exactly. And I mean, just go back a couple weeks ago to where, you bring up stretching 3 extra laps of fuel. Brandon Cotton was able to, and Ty were essentially able to eliminate a final pit stop by stretching their fuel to where Dustin had to dip in and at least take fuel. And aside, if that was Charlotte, if Cotton wouldn't have caught that car on the apron coming out of 4, that strategy would have won him the race. Ultimately, it ended up getting Ty the race because I think he was able to fuel up, and Dustin had to skip taking tires on that last run. But regardless, we're starting to see this season, we're starting to see strategy become a prominent thing here on deciding these races. And as people like to say, the caution decided it. Well, some of that true, but Ty also ran the strategy to run that tank out, and either he was going to push it till he ran out of fuel or a caution was going to come out. So that's technically strategy.
And you live by the sword, you die by the sword, because if
Exactly.
he's going to take tires, then by the time everybody comes in for their final stop, Ty's already made his final stop. They also get tires, and now Ty's on 10 or 15 lap old tires, and he doesn't have to stop. He can make it to the end, but here comes everybody else with tires now, with new tires, and Ty's on old tires. So if he came in 11th under green, comes out 11th, he's going to be 15th or last by the time everybody with new tires comes in and gets new tires and comes around him. So it's just sometimes it works out. You got to factor in the track and scenario and who you're driving around. Another one that was good at saving fuel was Eric Thaler. So I think the saving tires does a good job, or saving tires and saving fuel strategy is a product of the fuel size in the Cup car, the number of tires on the ground, and the track, and not having stages. So not having stages in a smaller fuel cell, I think, really made strategy the X factor in this. And as some people noted in the Discord, I will change the topic off of strategy a little bit as the 0x and how hard it is to get that every single race. And so 0x might be a way to make up for not being the best at strategy. So there's multiple ways to get your points back. And once again, those rules were very clear coming into the season, and pretty sure that's the way they're going to stay through the rest of the season. So this is what we got, and I love it. I love it. For there to be this many curveballs thrown in almost every race we've been, strategy has been a factor, and we're only a third of the way in. I'm looking forward to the next 2/3 of the race with the unpredictability and drivers making their own luck.
Yeah, for sure. So we had Ty winning the race out in Bristol on a good strategy call. Again, running that out as far as he could. If you guys want to take a look at the screen, I got the points up. Eric Thaler still leading. He's just been trying to put in the consistent best finishes he can get, and it's been paying off for him. 339 total points there for Eric. Dustin is close behind him, 12 points behind at 327 in second place. Aaron Holroyd, still putting on a pretty good season here, is tied with fourth place Justin Thaler at 326. 1 point behind second. 13 points behind first.
0x at Bristol, I believe.
With Aaron, congratulations. I was going to say, after you got done talking about the incidents, if you came out of Bristol with a 0x, you earned that 0x. Because Bristol's a hard one to come out of scratch-free. So, Ty Williams, don't you me. Ty Williams, 5th place at 320 points. Brandon Cotton, he's hanging out there at 6th, 305 points. And then we start to get down to the 270s, 7th, 8th place, 1 point difference, 272, 271 between Trevor McLaughlin, Brandon Thayer, Sean Cunningham 9th, 266, and Walker McNulty in 10th at 255. So you guys noticed I read down through the top 10 there and read the points off. The points in Cup are close. That's what I like to see when we're going through and we're factoring in points, because without having the drop races factored just yet, and we have a close race like this, I can only imagine what it's going to look like towards the end of the season. So these guys are putting on great races every weekend. James, I hope you and Michael, whenever he gets a chance to watch them, is enjoying calling these races. I know I got to spectate race or two, the Charlotte race, and I just couldn't not watch that race. Like, it was seeing the strategy, being a driver in the series and seeing the strategy play out, and seeing these cars like taking fuel at different laps and stuff, actually seeing that stuff plays out really makes it to where you're watching it, you're invested in it. So you guys are putting on a great show, both trucks, cups, even our road series guys. But let's keep this going, and let's see how these points play out over the next 2/3 of the season.
Like you mentioned, 7 points between second place Dustin Reinstedel, and what is it? Fifth place.
Aye.
Yeah, 7 points. I mean, that's just nuts. And thanks for the compliment with us calling the race. We're having a lot of fun. Shout out to Michael Samia for having the Grinch paint. He brought it home 3rd place. I would be remiss without mentioning the paint tributes for the holiday season. A couple of candy cane paints between Trevor McLaughlin and Walker McNulty. That was a lot of fun to see too. So keep up keeping me sharp, and Michael and Walker on the truck side sharp on switching up the paints. It's a lot of fun to see all the paint themes coming through on the broadcast.
Yeah, for sure. Great job with the Christmas themed paints. Everybody that ran one over the course of the last week. So again, if you guys have any great screenshots that you guys grabbed and you guys want them thrown up on the podcast here, if you've been watching, we have a couple screenshots I've been grabbing out of the Discord channels and post them in here. So send them over, tag me in them, do whatever you guys would like to. Post them in the screenshot chat, and I'll try and throw them in here every week and try to get as many in as possible, so we can see all the action on the track. Justin,
Anthony.
did you want to talk about any Road Series stuff tonight, or?
Sure. Closing in. So, as said before, the new season starts January 14th. Will be week 1 at Twin Ring Motegi. Right now, all of the I guess internal sign up form is up in the Road Series chat, and I believe I'm running that until, I don't recall what my announcement was. I want to say it was maybe the 30th or the 29th, maybe the 27th, 28th. I don't remember, but that's going to be ending here pretty soon. So that's to get us through. Let our existing drivers select their numbers and everything else like that. So one thing I've been watching are the registration responses, and we have currently a total of 29 returning drivers. That's outside the admin group, so probably throw in another 6 or so of us admins who race in the Road Series. So some surprising names on there I haven't seen yet. I don't know. All the drivers that I've been kind of looking at, who I'm surprised I haven't seen, are all pro drivers. So maybe there's taken maybe another couple days to really try and figure out what manufacturer they want to run with next season. So that could be maybe part of it as well. But yeah, super excited. We got a lot of things done. The rules are updated on the website and within the Discord channel. The under the road series, the rule book channel. So there may be some slight variations to them. Steve's still working on getting the point system finalized. Basically, just because like the way it used to be was we had separate points for the pros versus the AMs, and since going into next season, we'll actually have true car car classes utilized for the two divisions. That really doesn't make much sense. We can do it, something much similar where like basically regardless of what division, they're going to get these points from first all the way down to last. So it doesn't, I don't think, need to be as complicated. So the saving grace is it seems like we're going to be able to simplify that aspect of it. One of the things we're going to do is qualifying is going to be a little bit longer. The session time is 20 minutes for qualifying, but the AM drivers will get the first 10-minute time slot. So only the AMs will be allowed to go out and qualify during the first 10 minutes, and then the pro drivers will go out and qualify in the last 10. That's just to make sure, basically all the AMs, don't have to worry either about a GT3 flying up on them and trying to, I don't know, I'm going to say it ruin their lap by maybe impeding into a corner or something. And the same goes vice versa. The pros don't have to worry about, oh, I'm going to catch a slower car, in this section of the track, and it's really going to jeopardize, my qualifying lap. So it's still going to be open qualifying where everybody's out on the track qualifying at once, but it's going to be split between the GT3s and the GT4s. So that's pretty new. But I want everybody to go through and read the rules and make sure they read the rules and not get one of our awesome road drivers, CJ, tried to post a bunch of the updates that he saw earlier this morning, and I kind of yelled at him publicly. I was like, "No, you need to make them read the rules. You got to teach a man to fish. Don't give a man a fish, right?" So I want our drivers to go actually read and understand the rules, the implications, the penalties if you do something wrong, and so forth. But looking to get some open recruitment here started probably after Christmas. So hopefully get a new influx of drivers. We don't turn people away, and the more our league grows, the better everything will get. The drivers who want to race clean, respectfully, have fun, they'll stay. If you get bad actors, that they usually tend to weed themselves out anyway. So there's no problem. I mean, I would love to have a 40 car grid every single week in a GT series. I think it'd be awesome. So our goal is to continue and grow and recruit new drivers. And if any of our oval drivers, if you're interested in joining our road series, here in a little time, you'll see I'll post an announcement directing you to the website. So if you're interested, hop on in. So the more the merrier.
Yeah, for any of the oval guys that are, on the fence about it, I say at least give it a shot. It definitely makes your cornering, corner entry and everything, your smoothness on throttle, braking into corners, all that stuff. It makes it so it's better for you, and not just on necessarily oval tracks like we know are oval run on road courses. But it helps all around. So if you've been on the fence about it, and you see these screenshots and stuff that I've been posting of the road series and like that one there on the screen now with all those cars. That's an actual race these guys ran out at Watkins Glen. So there are a lot of participants. They're all great people, and they're all willing to help you get better at driving one of these sports cars if you're having issues with it. So don't be intimidated by the different discipline. It's definitely something that's welcoming, and it'll just make you a better driver. Oh, and I know I said that they're welcoming on teaching people. Our oval side is the same. If you're finding you're having issues getting around the track, just post something in either the cup or truck, whatever series you're in, post something in there and just say, hey, I need some tips on getting around here. And more often than not, either myself or one of the other admins will give you some advice, or one of the fast guys in that channel can reach out and say, okay, try doing this or this, and try to get you through your corners. League racing is here to make everybody better and put on great racing so we can all enjoy what we do on the weekends. So the only way to get great racing and everybody have fun is to lift up the competition so we have great competitive races. So anybody looking to get better, go ahead, reach out, and whoever's in your respective series can help you strive for better lap times and cleaner racing. Justin, did you have anything else after I went on my rant there?
Oh, no, I don't think so. I'm looking forward to it. I know our road series drivers are probably definitely looking forward to it as well. James, what do you have to say about
Broadcasters are
next
looking
season?
forward to it. Broadcasters are definitely looking forward to multi-class racing.
Well,
With group qualifying, basically. I think that's really smart. Man, there's so much awesomeness to look forward to in this league, and yeah, I'm really excited about the Road Series season coming up. And I'm not mad about a week off for the holidays. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, however you celebrate. Hope you and your family have a great holiday season, and yeah, don't forget, have a great holiday.
mm-hmm.
That's the way to put it. Even though there's no racing going on this week, we will have a special episode next Monday of the Cool Down Lap. It's our 1 year anniversary of the start of the podcast. So if you guys want to listen in for some background noise or tune in, we're going to be taking questions, answering questions. We're going to have some guests on, people that don't normally get to get onto the podcast and talk, admins, confetti, cake, everything. So I don't know about the cake. I take that back.
Do you know what episode number that is?
It'd be episode 40, I believe.
Interesting.
Yes, because we did have a couple off weeks throughout the season. So we will be here next Monday for that 1 year podcast anniversary of the Cool Down Lap. So listen in if you guys want to. Otherwise, you can catch it in the library, the podcast library on YouTube. And aside from that, everybody have a great Christmas. Enjoy it with your families. Enjoy the time away, and we'll be here ready to go next week. So everybody have a great week.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
As always, don't forget to stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.